Hey Sarah, how are
Hi,
you?
Sarah. Hi, I'm good, and you?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. I can complain. How's your day been?
My day's been pretty good. Yeah, I've just been getting some work done, finishing up some things, nothing too exciting.
Oh, come on. How about the weekend? Was the weekend exciting?
The weekend was, I came back on Saturday from a holiday by the coast, so that was really nice.
Okay,
Well, I mean, it
nice.
wasn't fantastic to be home again, but it was nice
Uh-huh,
to
uh-huh.
see everyone again.
Ah, that's nice. That's nice. Well, for the
Yeah.
people that are watching this interview that don't know who I'm talking to, this is Sarah Matthews. Sarah is a graphic designer that specializes in logo design and brand identities. But before we get too deep on that, Sarah, I would love for you to introduce yourself to the viewers and maybe talk about who you are, where you're from, and a little bit of your backstory.
Okay, so yeah, my name is Sarah Matthews, as you said. I am a brand identity designer. I am living in South Africa, but my family is British. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's quite an interesting thing for me. And yeah, that's pretty much me.
Do you how do you got to graphic design? How did this world get to you?
Yeah, so throughout my school career, I had always sort of dabbled in graphic design on and off, doing a few
Hmm.
projects for people I knew and just personal projects. And it was only once I graduated that I actually started considering graphic design as
Hmm.
a possible career
Okay.
option. And I
Okay.
took a few months. Yeah, after high school, I took a few months off to just decide what I wanted to do, and I ended up taking a few courses on graphic design and I absolutely fell
Hmm.
in love with it. It was something that I'd never actually considered as a career before. And yeah, once I started doing it, I just really knew that this was something I wanted to pursue. And yeah, basically from there, it's just been my passion ever since.
And what made you change? What made you actually pursue this as a career?
Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure. Like, I don't know what made me make that decision. I think I just got to a point where there
Hmm.
were so many options, so many things I wanted to do. And in the end, I just decided to like pick a random course online and give it a
Hmm.
go. And the first one that came to me was a graphic design course. So yeah, that
Okay.
was
Okay.
just how the decision was made. It wasn't like super thought out, but I'm really glad I stumbled upon it.
Okay. So you didn't actually went to school to study graphic design. You study graphic design on your own, correct?
Yes, yeah. So I considered going to like a university to learn graphic design, but after
Hmm.
completing a few courses online and doing just a lot of self-studying by just looking at resources on YouTube and whatever was available,
Hmm. Hmm.
I figured that I didn't need it. I already knew a lot of what they were going to teach me in university, so I decided to just sort of just wing it, see where it takes me. And yeah, that's sort of brought me to where I am now.
That's awesome. How long have you been doing this on a professional basis?
So I've been doing it for about 2 years now, but it's only in the past year that I've really gotten into it like super seriously because the previous year was more
Hmm.
just learning and seeing where it was going, looking for a potential job at a company. And then only in the past year have I started getting into freelancing and really taking it
Mm.
on as a career.
Okay, so you fell in love with graphic design. You started studying it and practicing it, and after that, you went straight to freelance. You haven't worked on like a company for a period of or for a period of for a period or goddamn for a period of time.
Yeah, so I considered working for companies, but it was just really tough in the area where I stay. I live quite far out in the
Okay.
country, and the
Mm-hmm.
closest companies by me are about half an hour, 45 minutes away, and all of them
Okay. Okay.
aren't looking for jobs. So from that
Mm-hmm.
point of view, it was just really difficult for me to try and find a job. So instead of getting into all of that, I just decided to start working on projects for people and just get
Mm-hmm.
into it
Mm-hmm.
myself.
And are your clients like very how do I say this local, or do you work with people around the world?
So I've actually worked with such a collection of people. It's been really nice because I've had
That's
some
awesome.
very local people, so people that live like
Okay.
right in my area, like in my hometown, and then I've also had people from across the world. So obviously I'm in South Africa. I've worked with people from the
Mm-hmm.
United States and from the UK, which has been such an interesting experience. And yeah, I'm just really grateful that I get to work with those people.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And what made you mm, graphic design? It's like a whole monster, you know. It's big. It's
Yeah.
logo design, it's branding, it's posters, it's photography, it's typography. There's a lot. What made you niche down to logo design and identity design?
So it really, my passion for it started when I was doing my courses online. And whenever I got to the
Okay.
section of the course that was focusing on logo design and I had a logo design assignment, like I just got so excited and I just couldn't wait to work on that project. I just would get so happy. And it was so different
Mm-hmm.
from other assignments. Like when I had to do just like a design for like a poster or a flyer or an advertisement, I'd enjoy it, but it was so-so. But then
Not
when
as
it
much.
came to actually doing, yeah, like it just didn't, I didn't have that same passion. So, like,
Uh-huh.
definitely, I just completely fell in love with it from that. And yeah, just been going at it ever since.
So you can say that you actually love logo design, and because you love logo design, you actually do brand identities as a sort of as a package, right?
Yes, yeah. So, logo design is definitely my favorite part of the brand identity
Mm-hmm.
design
Mm-hmm.
process. That is the part that I love most. Like, just getting into that really excites me. But I must say, I enjoy pretty much the whole process of doing a brand identity design.
Okay.
There's not many parts of it that I don't enjoy, but definitely the logo design is my favorite.
Okay. Okay. And what kind of logos are your favorites?
Oh, that's a tough one. Pretty much anything.
Yeah.
I think the ones that I enjoy the most are probably more like it's an interesting style that I enjoy. It's sort of like sophisticated and yet
Mm-hmm.
bold. So it's like not that
Okay.
like super elegant, super dainty, but it's also not like super out there, super bold. It's sort of like in between the two of them. I like combining those different
Okay.
styles. And that's my favorite type. Like when I get to design logos that fit in that niche, that's when I'm really happy.
Okay. Do you have a particular type that you don't like, or every time you see it, you're like, I don't like that.
I'd say my least favorite logo design is that sort of like very clean, very corporate looking logo design
Okay.
that's
Okay.
generally like just of like a building and it just has a very plain typeface. Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
dislike it,
Mm-hmm.
it's just it doesn't excite me. I find it quite boring. I prefer more like very unique out there sort of personalized logos that you wouldn't really see anywhere
Yeah.
else.
Yeah. That's awesome. So when a client
Mm.
comes to you and let's say I'm the client and I'm working on my, I don't know, I'm a mechanic and I need a logo and an identity to match my profession. And I want to work with you. What's your first step? What is the first thing you do when something like that comes to you?
Yeah, so my first steps would be obviously the potential client would fill out an inquiry form with me or reach out in some way, either via email or DM on Instagram. And from there, I like to set up a discovery call where I do a
Mm-hmm.
call for about 30 to 45 minutes where I just chat to the client about their goals, what they are looking for, and what they want out of that project and the type of project that they're looking for, whether they just want a logo design or a full brand identity, and really
Mm-hmm.
just getting to know the client, letting the client get to know me. And yeah, so that's
Mm-hmm.
my pretty much my first step when it comes to taking on clients is getting on that call and getting to know them.
Do you have like packages that you offer your clients, or is it everything, or is it custom?
Yeah, so what I've been doing for the past few months is offering packages where I have just a set package of deliverables that people go for, but I'm looking into now changing it up and going into more of custom brand identities. so people can choose the different elements that they want in their package and really customize it.
Hmm.
Because I find that businesses are just so different and so unique, and offering just a
Yeah.
set package, there's often things included that they wouldn't use, and then they end up wasting their money, and I end up wasting my time making those things for them that they're not really going to use in the long run. So I really enjoy
Yeah.
this new aspect of them just being able to create a customized package for their business, for their needs. And then they can always come back in the future for things that they didn't know they needed, or things that they now want in a new part of their business. So yeah, that's what I've been enjoying doing lately.
Okay. And is South Africa a crowded market when it comes to design, graphic design, logo design, or is it how crowded is it? Are there many people doing the same thing?
I'd say I never used to think it was very crowded because you don't hear of a lot of people doing it. But recently, just a lot of people that I've been talking to one on one, a lot of them say that they do graphic design. So I'll tell them what I do,
Okay.
and then they're like, oh, yes, I do that too. I'm also into graphic design, or I'm studying it, or I used to do it. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting
Mm-hmm.
to discover that it is quite a full market. I wouldn't say it's
Mm-hmm.
like overly crowded. There are quite a lot of people in South Africa doing graphic design and brand design as well.
Okay, so now that we're talking about people doing the same and community, do you have like a community you can rely on when it comes to graphic design, when it comes to feedback, when it comes to knowing you're in the right direction?
So my community that I sort of reach out for that type of thing, it isn't really local. It's more my like online groups that I have from the courses that I've done.
Okay.
I have access
Mm-hmm.
to different Facebook groups with groups of
Mm-hmm.
graphic designers. So whenever I have like a logo design or a brand identity design that I need some feedback on, I'll
Mm-hmm.
often post it onto those groups and ask those people for feedback. And
Oh,
also
okay.
it's helpful
Okay.
because I get different perspectives of these designers that have
Mm-hmm.
also been in the industry for longer than me. Yeah, so it's people from around the world, really, from those groups that I find I get feedback from and can help me out when I need it.
That's awesome. And do you have like mentors that can help you out?
So I don't actually have any mentors at the moment that are sort of like one-on-one, but I find that I get a
Mm-hmm.
lot of inspiration from like other designers online. So I have like
Mm-hmm.
quite a few that I really look up to, and they become like my mentors because I always watch their videos, I look at their posts and their projects, and I'm constantly learning from them. So yeah, I'd say those people are probably my mentors, yeah.
That's awesome. You were telling me the other day that you were taking some courses. How's that going?
Yes, that's going really well. I started taking the course by the Brief Collective, which is their
Okay.
university course. Yeah, so it's teaching
Okay.
me everything I need to know about the business side of graphic design,
Okay.
because obviously I haven't
Okay.
worked with companies before. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of like gaps. Well, there were a lot of gaps in my knowledge, and I was a bit unsure on how to approach different things. So I've really been learning a lot
Mm-hmm.
about like the finances and how to set up all the behind the scenes things like invoices and contracts, and getting into all the business side of things. And my coaches are also my mentors as well on there, and I can reach out to them when I need help with something. So that's been a really great experience for me so far.
Can you tell us a little bit about gaps you found or the things that those gaps and what have changed? Like what changes have you made to sort of, I don't want to say correct them, but to fill them?
Yeah, so I'd say one of the biggest gaps that I had in my sort of process as a designer was how to onboard clients because I'd get an inquiry and
Okay.
I didn't always know what to do with it. Like I just respond with an email and sort of make things up as I
Mm-hmm.
went, and it was a bit chaotic. And in
Mm-hmm.
this course, it's really just taught me, how to conduct client calls and discovery calls, how to email people so I'm professional and I know what I'm doing, and how to have all the right things set up. So a client portal where the client can come in and see their project. They can keep track of their project as I go through it, and also just a place where they can sign all their contracts and have a look at all their
Mm-hmm.
invoices, and where everything is just all in one place. So I didn't know how to do that before, and it's been really
Okay.
wonderful
Okay.
learning that because now I feel more confident in my process and being able to offer my clients a stress-free process of
Mm-hmm.
like getting their brand identity where they don't have to, wonder, okay, how am I going to contact this person? How's the project coming
Mm-hmm.
along?
Mm-hmm.
Everything is just laid out so nicely. And I think learning that was such an important thing and something that has really boosted my business that I'm really grateful for.
That's awesome. So we can say that you have a pretty solid process right now compared to how you started from.
Yeah, I'm really excited to say that I do because for a long time that was one thing that caused me a lot of stress when I get a new client, just not knowing what to do with them exactly. And now I have, well, what I feel like is such a nice, solid process to take them through. And yeah, it feels really good.
That's awesome. And how close is your client to your process? Like how did I say this? How usually is your relationship with your client? Do you Are you always giving him, is he always giving you feedback? Is he always on the loop? Or is it something like you start working with him, you have the discovery call, and after that you kind of go for a while and then you present how, maybe take us a little bit by the hand and tell us how your process used to be and maybe how it is right now.
Yeah, so how my process used to be was I would get the client and then I just, do some of the work and then send them an email with, like the partially designed concept that they could approve or something. And it was just very
Mm-hmm.
disjointed. But now I'd say it's a very hands-on approach for my
Mm-hmm.
clients. So first of all, jumping onto that discovery call, I get to know a lot about them. They get to know a lot about me, ask any questions that they have, and really just get comfortable with the project and with me as the designer. And from
Mm-hmm.
there, they will have tasks that they need to complete, such as creating a Pinterest board that I can use to understand better the direction that they're going in for their business. And from there, I will go to them for each step. So I'll create like a mood board and then I'll send it into them for a review, and then they approve it. They tell me what they think of it, if they want any changes, and then I'll design the logo and send that in and then get
Mm-hmm.
their approval on that and see if there's any revisions for that. So every step of the way, I'm going to my clients and seeing, okay, are they happy? Are they happy with this direction? Do they want to change anything? And also, it's very nice for them because in the client portal that I use the app Asana, and it's very
Mm-hmm.
simple. It's very nice. They can see I check off each step as I complete it. So they can see where I am at in the project. They can contact me if they have any questions or if they want to see where I'm at, or if they want to, learn a little bit more about what's going on with their project.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's very involved with the client. They don't have to do much. They just sit back and like approve the design as it comes through. But it's very nice for them to be able
Okay.
to see how that process is going and to just be very involved in where it's going.
And how long does it usually take you to complete a project? Let's say a branding project.
So it usually takes me about 3 to 6 weeks, depending on the deliverables that the client needs and also the speed of their feedback. So obviously, if they take a
Mm-hmm.
really long time to get back to me with the feedback and the revisions that they want, it's going to slow down the process. And if they
Yeah.
want more deliverables and all that sort of thing, it takes longer. So it's usually about 3 to 6 weeks to complete the brand identity.
Okay.
And yeah, it could go longer, it could be shorter, it all just depends on the project.
Hopefully shorter. So, and in that process, what have you found out that it's the thing that takes you the most time?
So I'd say what takes the most time is probably setting up the presentations for the clients because once I've
Mm-hmm.
completed the logo design and I've got the color palette and the typography, I then take that design and I put it into a full presentation for the client. So just mapping out
Yeah.
the thought process behind the design and showcasing
Yeah.
the elements and how they can use them in their business. And that takes quite a bit of
Mm-hmm.
time because obviously you want to present it in a beautiful way that they understand it and
Yeah.
they can
Yeah.
see how it works
Mm-hmm.
in a real world
Mm-hmm.
situation. So I really like to spend most of my time just getting into that and really presenting it in a way that's going to make sense to them and going to get them excited about their new brand identity.
Do you have any tricks for presenting work?
So yeah, I have quite a few templates that I use for presenting my work. So it's all
Mm-hmm.
sort of laid out, but
Okay.
then each brand presentation, I customize it a little bit for the project. So I take that template and, I know what goes where, and that helps me to save
Mm-hmm.
time as well because obviously it is a long process, but then I will generally just customize it as I go for each client.
And when you make the presentation, do you design it for okay, how do you usually present your work to your clients? Is it via Zoom, via, via the internet? Is it on face to face? Is it on an iPad? How do you present your work to your client usually?
So how I usually do it is once I've completed the presentation for them, I will upload it onto the client portal and then I will notify them that it is there and it is ready and I upload it via PDF so then they can go in there,
Mm-hmm.
they can download the PDF and have a look at it and then get back to me with any revisions that they might have or whatever feedback they might have. So yeah, I just upload it there in the
Okay.
portal
Okay.
and yeah, it's via PDF, so they can just check that out and take their time to really take it in and see what they think of it.
Okay. Okay. So you don't actually present it, right?
Yeah, so because a lot of my clients are overseas with the time difference, a lot of the time when they're
Mm,
awake, I'm asleep, so it makes it a little bit
mm-hmm.
difficult to
Mm-hmm.
coordinate times. If it is something that they want, I do hop
Mm-hmm.
onto a call and show them the brand presentation live with them, but most of the time I prefer to just send them over the PDF and let them think through it because it also gives them time to really take it in and see what they think about it and, not be too put on the spot to make a decision
Mm-hmm.
about what they
Mm-hmm.
think about the presentation.
True. True. So, let's talk a little bit about social media.
Okay.
How long have you been on social professionally?
So professionally, I've been doing it for about 2 years now. Only properly again for the past year, but I have been
Okay.
slowly building it up over 2 years.
And how, what has been your experience on social media?
So my experience has been that it is really difficult. It is
It
definitely
is.
very hands-on. It is. I must say I never thought it would be as difficult as I have found it to be, but it's a challenge and I enjoy it. And I must say there's very much two sides to social media. It's kind of like a love-hate
Mm-hmm.
relationship for me because
Yeah.
I love the community on Instagram. I love the
Okay.
people that I have on there. I love chatting to
Mm-hmm.
people, getting to know people, commenting on other people's posts and seeing their comments on my
Mm-hmm.
posts. I love that part of it. I really do. But the part that I don't love is constantly having to show up all the time and constantly having
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
post and make posts and see what the algorithm's doing and what's going to work and what
Yeah.
isn't going to work. And figuring that out has definitely been a big challenge for me and something that I'm still getting used to. I definitely am not a pro in any ways when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
those types of things, but I have learned a lot over the past year.
It's been very difficult for me too. It's been very challenging for me too. Um,
Um,
what sort of things have you figured out? Like, what kind of posts do you see perform better, or what kind of strategy, if you have any strategy, what are you doing right now? How are you tackling this?
So I must say my strategy for posting on Instagram is a little bit chaotic. I always try to plan it out, but then I always just end up doing my own thing. But I found
Uh-huh.
what works is when I present
Okay.
like brand presentations, is doing them in carousel posts. And I find that doing those
Okay.
presentations in a carousel post works really well for me. And then doing
Okay.
educational content in the form of reels, I find really works for me.
Okay.
So that's sort of what I'm sticking to at the moment is having a balance between carousel posts and reels. And yeah, I much prefer doing carousel posts. I do tend to lean more towards posting those, but I am also trying to get into reels a little bit more.
Okay. Because it's less time consuming or because you enjoy them the most?
Because I enjoy them the most because I can get it up on my design software and really just have fun creating them. I like to do seamless carousel posts. So I really enjoy creating how it flows together. And when it comes to reels, obviously there's a lot of filming and like video editing, and that's not something that I'm
Mm-hmm.
really good at. So I think it's because like it's a bit of a mission for me to create reels because I'm not very I don't have a lot of skills when it comes to video editing. So that's probably why I don't enjoy it as much as the carousels. But I'm starting to enjoy it more. As I get used to it, I'm starting to get into it
Okay.
more and enjoy the process of creating it a bit more.
Well, here's the thing, and I've been I talk about this on one of the previous interviews that I did. The thing with the algorithm right now and how reels are moving on the platform, it's so chaotic that you don't need to be
Mm,
good making reels. I've seen reels that look horrible with your phone like this and very low quality and all of the background behind, and they have millions of views. So the fact that
yeah.
I think that saying I'm not good at it, it's just a way of self sabotage, because there are definitely a lot of reels out there that look hideous, and they're performing amazingly. So I think we just need to make more videos.
I think so too. And I think that's definitely, it's probably just an excuse that I have saying that, I'm not really good at doing the video editing because
Hmm.
it's not something I particularly enjoy, but I have definitely found in my experience that the reels that I put pretty much no time and effort into are the ones that just
Hmm.
suddenly get all the views, they get all the likes, they do so well. And then the ones that I actually put
Yeah.
effort into and I really plan out, they get hardly anything. So I think like just getting into it and doing it anyways and posting a reel, even if it's not perfect, is something that I need to get into doing because I think it's definitely beneficial.
Yeah, it happened to me. It
Mhm.
happens exactly the same. Exactly the same. The ones that I have a little bit more of time and I spend more time making and I polish and I'm like, this video, it's very well recorded, has a very clear message, have the value in it, it's very short, all of those points that it's gonna make a reel go viral, and it bombs. And the one
Yeah.
that I just spent no time making, wobbly camera and hideous background, off the roof. And it's like, wow, what the hell? Why is this happening?
It's very frustrating because as much as
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is nice that like
Uh
the
huh.
content that you don't put a huge amount of effort into does well, it's also a bit frustrating because you don't want to make unprofessional looking reels and you
Mm-hmm.
want to put the effort in, you want to make it look good and be enjoyable
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
for the viewers, but then it just
Mm-hmm.
those aren't the ones that particularly do well. And I find it very
Yeah,
confusing. I'm still trying to figure that whole
it
scenario
is. It
out.
is.
But yeah.
Yeah, and for example, in my case, I spent the last 2 years making what I consider portfolio Instagram posts. Every single post or video or reel was a piece of art that I made or something for my clients, and it wasn't performing as well. And this year I tried a new strategy, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna mix it up. I'm gonna start doing the things that I never wanted to do because for example, I'm making a lot of educational content right now, and two things. One, I don't consider myself a teacher, and two, it's not what I do. I don't teach. I make logos, I make designs. That's what I do. But believe it or not, that sort of educational content performs really well on social media because you're giving value to whoever is watching your content. You know, it's a different game, sort of.
Yeah, no, it definitely is that. And I've definitely noticed that. And even when I am personally on Instagram scrolling through posts, I find myself drawn to educational posts, even when it's something that doesn't really apply to me. I find
Yeah,
myself
yeah.
going through it and looking at it more. If it's a reel, I watch it several times over, as opposed to
Mm-hmm.
other
Mm-hmm.
reels that I would find more interesting. I don't view them as much as the more educational posts. And I find that very interesting is the way our minds work on social media is it's very different. It's a very different way of thinking. You have to think outside the box and very much in the box at the same
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing.
Mm.
We don't think about it, but people like to learn. Even
They
in a
do.
subconscious level, people like to learn. If you can provide
Mm.
value with a 15-second video showing them to do something they never thought of doing that way before, that for people, it's really valuable. So it's definitely
It
a
is.
different way of approaching social media.
Yeah, no, it is for sure. And I think also having people save those posts when it's an educational post is more likely
Mm-hmm.
to be
Mm-hmm.
saved by someone, and then the algorithm picks up
Yeah.
on that and boosts it to more people. So I think that's also probably the thing that makes educational posts do so well is that
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
really do just save them, even if they're not likely to actually go back and
Mm-hmm.
rewatch that
And what?
piece of
Yeah.
content. They're going to save it
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
going to do well. So I think
They're gonna.
also just like
They're gonna.
finding out. Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry. No, I was gonna say that they're
No, no.
not only not only they're gonna save it, they're probably gonna share it too, and that actually helps to
Yes.
the algorithm.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. It's an interesting thing discovering what works and what doesn't and seeing what the algorithm
Mm-hmm.
tends towards, and it's always changing because reels have been doing so well, and recently it's been all over social media that they're starting to boost carousel posts a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm really
Mm-hmm.
happy about, obviously, because that's what I love, and I really have found
Yeah.
that carousel posts are doing well. But now it's also finding out what's the best type of carousel post to put out
Mm-hmm.
there and really just getting to know. I think it's also like getting to know your audience and what
Mm-hmm.
they are
Mm-hmm.
looking for. And once you find that content that they enjoy and they want to consume, then I think you really get onto something.
Yeah. Double down on that.
Yeah, for sure.
So, how many times a week do you post right now?
So right now I'm posting 5 times a week. I post every single day except for
Woo!
Saturdays and Mondays. I'm thinking of going up to 6 days a week just because I feel like engagement on my profile has been lacking a bit, but at the same time, I have so much
Okay.
work to do that I'm worried that that's going to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
unsustainable. So for now, I'm sticking with 5 times a week, and it's been going pretty
Yeah.
well.
Okay, okay, that's pretty good. Right now, I'm on
Mm.
5 times a week too, and March,
Okay.
this month, March, is going to be a little bit crazy because I'm going to start releasing the interviews and the clips for the interviews. So I have like my graphic
Okay.
design content, the educational content,
Mm.
and on top of that, the interview content.
Mhm.
So I'm crossing my fingers. I don't know how that's gonna go.
Yeah, I hope that goes well. It is quite a lot having to create all that content, but it's exciting as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, it really
Mhm.
is. So, you were talking to me a little bit before about your experience on camera and how how challenging it was for you to actually get on camera and record yourself and be part of your brand, you know, be the face of your brand. What can you tell for the people that everyone goes through this? I went through this. I still go through this. The first time you see yourself on camera, you hate your face, you look fat, you don't
Yeah.
like how you sound, the angle is
Mm.
terrible, you sound cringy. It's a lot of stuff that we have to deal with. And
Yeah.
in my opinion, it's all on your head. People don't give a
Mm.
fuck. They don't care about you. It's all on your head. It's a game.
Yeah.
It's a mental game. So, but what has been your experience, and what can you say to the people that are actually struggling with get on camera and being part of this social media presence game?
Also, I think one quote that I love that really encourages me, and it's something that my coaches from the Brief Collective are always saying, is feel the fear and do it anyways. Because it is scary. It's really scary to actually
Uh-huh.
get
Uh-huh.
onto your stories and to talk and
Yeah.
to film yourself in reels and post that to an audience that is worldwide. It is terrifying. And I remember
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I would hear it a lot when I was doing research about the best way to grow your Instagram page. Everyone was saying, show your face, talk on
Mm-hmm.
your stories, be the face behind your brand. And I just didn't want to do it. I was like, I can do without this. I don't need it. And then I was
Yeah.
chatting to
Yeah.
one of my friends and she was just like, Sarah, you need to do it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm.
don't care if it's scary. You can be cringy. You can be really lame. Just get on there and do it. So I decided to jump into it and just ignore the fear and get on with it. And it was terrifying. I must say the first few weeks of talking on my stories, I would retake the video about 10 times because I would just say random things. I didn't know what I was saying. I'd look at the camera all
Mm-hmm.
wrong. I'd do weird angles. I didn't know what was going on, and it was really
Yeah.
scary. But something that really
Uh-huh.
encouraged me is when I started talking on my stories, a lot of people started reaching out to me in my DMs and telling me how inspiring it was and how they really looked forward to hearing me talk each morning and how they just really loved connecting with me. And that was something that really motivated me, is to actually realize that people care and they do enjoy seeing your face, because that's something I love too. When I am going through
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
stories or reels, I always find myself so much more interested when I see the person's face and when I can hear them talking and hear their voice. I feel like I really connect
Mm-hmm.
with them. I feel like that's something that's also really important when you're offering a service like brand design, especially to people who are overseas that won't get to meet you in person. It builds credibility that they can see you're a real
Mm-hmm.
person
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, you're just like everybody else and you're talking on your stories, talking about your day. Something I found that people really love hearing about is often like the things that go wrong in my day, like my laptop
Mm-hmm.
crashed
Mm-hmm.
or I'm
Yeah.
exhausted and I don't know how to get through my day. I'm on my fifth cup of
Yeah.
coffee or
Mm-hmm.
random things like that. And people really relate to that and they see
Yeah.
you as
Yeah.
human and they see you as just, another person that's just
Mm-hmm.
trying their best to get through their day. And it really has been a great experience to connect with people. And for anyone who is like scared to actually like get into it and do it, I'd say just jump into it. Like, be cringe, be like really terrible. Your camera
Mm-hmm.
quality is going to be bad. You're not going to know what to say, but just do it anyways, because at the end of the day, people do love seeing that. Like, even if it's a bit cringy, they enjoy seeing that. I think it's really nice to be able to
Yeah.
connect with people like that.
They, they enjoy it, and not only do they enjoy it, it's what you told earlier. It's relatable. The more relatable you
Yeah.
are to the people out there, the the easier it is for them to connect with you.
Yeah. For sure, because a lot of the time when I'm following people and they post something on their stories about something that's really relatable to me, I find that
Mm-hmm.
I feel more connected to them and I get more
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
excited to see their content and more excited to look at their stories in the future because I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know this person. They're just like me.
Mm-hmm.
They're not judging me. They're not on some sort of pedestal. They're not achieving things that are,
Mm-hmm.
unattainable for
Mm-hmm.
me. Like they're just a person. And I think that's really
Yeah.
nice in social media because there is such a disconnect on social media. As connected as we are very disconnected. And I think being able to
Yeah.
find those connections and being able to just really communicate with people on a deeper level is something that's so powerful when it comes to running your brand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Well, Sarah, I don't want to leave this interview without first knowing all about your rebrand. I saw your rebrand. I saw
Mm.
the new face of your services, and I want to know about it. Tell me about it. What made you rebrand? What made you take the decision? I want to know everything about it.
Okay. So the thing that made me decide to do it was my coaches from the Brief Collective, because what I didn't know is that my previous name, Four Seasons, was the name of a really well-known hotel in the United
Hotel,
States.
yeah,
And obviously,
yeah.
yeah, like I'm not from there, so I didn't know that. And when I first started my business, I was just getting into brand design, so I didn't do a lot of research and all that important stuff that you need for starting a business. So I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
And once they told me, I was like, okay, I need to change this up a little bit. So I looked into it. I toyed around with names for ages because I really loved my name, Four Seasons Design. It was something that I
Okay,
really
okay.
loved. But when I came upon Fifth Season Design, something I just decided this is what I really want. And there's a bit of a story behind it, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a bit hard to describe, but it's basically the story behind that name is for businesses when they've been through everything, they've done their DIY branding, they've been struggling. It's like they've gone through all the seasons, and they're kind of at the end of their road, and then they find me, and it's like their fifth season where
No,
they come
okay,
into this new
okay.
season, they find me, they get their new branding, they go on this new chapter, this new journey, and that's sort of what inspired the name. And how I like to think of it is like a business's
Mm-hmm.
fifth season. So, yeah, that's sort of the inspiration behind the change of the name. And then also the overall change in the look of my brand was I created my first brand identity again when I was first starting out. And I've come
Mm-hmm.
such a long way and I've learned so much and really grown in my skills so much. And I was like, I'm designing brands that I really love now and are really high quality, and my own personal branding is just not there. So I decided to
Mm-hmm.
just give it a
Mm-hmm.
makeover. And I enjoyed it so much because it was amazing for me to just see how far I've come in the past few months and to apply that into my own business and to really put everything that I've learned about brand strategy and reaching
Mm-hmm.
my target audience and to really just put that behind my brand and behind the design and have it just be a lot more meaningful. So that was also one of the reasons why I decided to just give it a little makeover. So yeah, there's a lot of reasons why I did it, but I'm glad I did.
That's awesome. That's amazing. Well, Sarah, I
Thank you
wish
very much.
you the best of luck. It was amazing to
Thank
talk to
you.
you. This little a bit about logos and brand and clients and everything that with the social media. I'm very
Mhm.
grateful for this conversation. Thank you so much for having me and for being a part of this conversation. And I wish you the best of luck with fifth season.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me as well. It was great chatting and great getting into all these questions. And yeah, I wish you all the best for yours as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Take care, Sarah.
You too. Bye.